Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today it's going to be a couple of different topics. I'm going to talk to you some more about fan fiction writing, writing in general, and fan fiction writing specifically. And then I'm going to give you an update on what's going on with the 4-month post bariatric gastric bypass surgery. All right. The most important thing if you're going to do fan fiction is to know your fandom. You can't just, dabble a little bit in it, oh yeah, I watched a couple movies or I read a book or two or whatever, and then think that you're going to be an expert. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you post something, whether it be AO3, fanfic.net, Wattpad, wherever, if you post something and you're not familiar enough with the fandom that you'll be able to just, smoothly sail right through it, they'll call you on it. True fans and true lovers of fan fiction will call you on it. They will say, no, 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 that's not how that works. No, 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 that is not part of this particular fandom. I restrict myself mostly to Harry Potter. Yeah, I won't call myself a nerd because Dungeons and Dragons, not interesting. Uh, just Harry Potter hit me in a way that a lot of other things don't. Some of my other favorite fandoms are Full Metal Alchemist. I've seen both versions, the original and Brotherhood, and the couple of OVAs that went with it, and Black Butler. I love me some sexy demons, and Sebastian Michaelis is a sexy, sexy demon. And I was able to do a couple of crossovers with those two particular fandoms. Crossovers are when you blend one particular fandom with another, whether it's a book with a movie, or two different books, or a book and an anime, or a book and a cartoon, books and TV shows, just two TV shows. You just, if you're an obsessive fan, like a lot of us are, you pull from both worlds and blend them seamlessly together. But they have to go together. Yeah. I've read a couple of stories where, with a couple of Harry Potter stories where they weren't magic bound. One of them was Harry was in a typical prep school, Muggle prep school. All the characters were there, but they were normals as opposed to being magical. And it was a really, really, really good story. I believe the name, I don't quite remember the name of the story, but I believe the name of the academy is Veritas Academy. It was good. It was a really, really, really good fic. Um, um, there's an author on AO3. She used to be on fanfic.net until she moved her stuff because fanfic makes too many changes. Started purging stories because they didn't meet the ratings requirements, and started purging stories because they weren't getting hits. They weren't as popular as some of the other stories. And so they've changed up their format in such a huge way. It used to be that if the people who left comments weren't part of the fandom, or weren't part of the the community, they couldn't post. But yeah, no, it's they don't protect their authors. They don't protect their authors. AO3 AO3 is, they have, like I've said before, I'm pretty sure, they have lawyers in the wings for when someone comes at fan fiction writers in general, the site specific in general, and fan fiction writers specifically for what they're doing, to make them stop. And it's all part of fair use. As long as you're not profiting from someone else's work without their permission. Wattpad, I probably will never post there, only because I just don't feel comfortable profiting off of someone else's work. Even if the stories are mostly mine, it's still based off of someone else's work, and that just doesn't sit right with me. But there are a lot of authors and a lot of screenwriters who don't have a problem with fan fiction, and don't mind if you're making a penny or two off of the stories you write around the worlds they create. And more power to those people who do that. But it's just not comfortable for me. That property is theirs. It's I don't know. It just feels like stealing to me. I know with permission, it's not a problem for most for the authors who give permission, or the authors' estates who give permission, because let's face it, some of the authors are probably gone. Anne McCaffrey, for instance, the Dragon Riders of Pern world. I'm sure that there are plenty of stories out there, Dragon Riders of Pern fan fictions. I'm actually reading one by Bob Min 356 on fanfic.net called, well, the first of 3 books. The first one is The Queen Who Fell to Earth. The second one is On the Wings of Dragons. And the third one is Beneath Sovereign Skies. Unfortunately, he was not able to complete Beneath Sovereign Skies. He was diagnosed with a pernicious form of lung cancer, and he did as much as he could before he passed away. There's another fanfic writer on fanfic.net who took what was left of Bob's final book in the series, and he built an ending to the story that he's posted on fanfic.net. It's not Bob, but it satisfies, but it lacks the passion that Bob had for it. He also has a crossover between Harry Potter and X-Men called Mutant Storm. Awesome story. I suggest you read it. Fanfic.net. The ID is 777540. He and his wife are just phenomenal. So yeah. Anywho, so like I said, when you're doing crossovers, please, for the love of all that's holy, make sure that you are very well versed in the 2 fandoms that you want to play in. Nothing sucks more than getting into a story and then realizing, oh, well, this person has no idea what the frick they're talking about. Oh my God, this is just awful. It's awful. It's awful. Oh, yeah. And another thing, and this is for all you authors out there who've stopped posting, stopped updating, stopped, you just aren't finishing your stories because reasons. We all understand that life happens. I, more than anybody, understands that life happens and sometimes you just can't. But if you're not going to finish a story, if you're going to leave an unfinished story up there in the ether, no. If you can't finish it, if you can't find someone who will be able to speak well enough in your voice to finish it for you, please take it down. You have no idea how disappointing it is. We're voraciously inhaling the story, and we're just so into it, and you get to the last chapter, and it's like, oh, this hasn't been updated in 10 years? Oh my... It's not fair to the people who are actually enjoying the story if you can't finish it. If you died, and it's kind of hard to talk to you if you're dead, but hey, if you died, pass it on to someone else who will either finish it or take it down. My daughter knows that when my time comes, if I had, and my computer will be, she'll be able to just open it up, go on to AO3 and do what she needs to do. When my time comes, if I have any unfinished stories, and please, I hope I never have any unfinished stories, but if I have any unfinished stories, she has instructions to take those stories down and let my readers know what happened so that they understand that the story will never be finished, and I am not just going to leave it up there for just no. It's not fair to the readers. It's really not fair to the readers, because we're invested, and I've got a lot of writers on AO3 that I follow, and we're invested in those stories. We're crying along with your characters. We're laughing along with your characters. We're cheering for your characters. We're encouraging your characters, and to stop in the middle at a critical point and never pick it up again, it's not fair to the readers. It really isn't. It would be like Stephen King selling a half-finished book, and no, we'll never see the end of it. No, that's just no. Just, I get that it's fan fiction. I get that we're not making any money off of this, but it's still not fair to the readers. Now, having said all that, these are little tiny steno pads. They are the perfect size to sit on the corner of your desk so that you can make notes. Amazon sells these for cheap in bundles of 10 or bundles of 20 or whatever. And I use them for each and every individual story that I write. This is how I take my notes. This is where, when I'm reading over the chapters that I've already posted, looking for inspiration for the next chapter, and I'm reading the comments and thinking, oh, I write them down. If I'm just, doing something else and something occurs to me, I have empty ones, blank ones here. Something occurs to me, oh, that'd be a great story. I pull out a new one, put a label on it for the story title, and write the stuff down. That way I have all the information that I'm going to put into the story, or all the twists and turns the story's going to take. I have them written down so that all I have to do is check. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to do next. So, yeah. Take notes. Write down stray thoughts that, when you're thinking about your story, write down stray thoughts that might occur to you, like, Oh, I should just check that out. Do the research on whatever the idea is, you know, call the internet for whatever information you need to flesh out that idea. Um, Make lists. I've got lists of allies for characters, new characters, names. I mean, it's a godsend. Having something like this right next to you, you quickly jot something down. You hear a stray thought or that someone says, or you're reading a story, oh, that's interesting. All right, there's an idea right there. Just, you know, it helps. Believe me, it helps. It helps you keep your thoughts with a specific story in order so that when you go to write it or when you go to update it, you have an idea of which direction you want to go. Of course, if you're like me, you'll have a set idea when you first start out with the story. And then as you're going through and adding chapters, your brain says, oh, no, wait, we're going to go this way instead. That's what they call the muse. No, that's just your brain saying, oh, I just had a wild idea, and maybe you ought to just do it. So, yeah, it's called inspiration. Yeah. Okay. Now, I am, as I've said, 4 months post gastric bypass at this point. I'm still having difficulties with food aversions. My sense of smell has heightened, but my sense of taste has diminished, if that makes any sense. Foods that I couldn't tolerate before because they were just too spicy, I can barely taste the spices now. I've already told you that pineapple, which I always found all nice and tart and sweet, just doesn't taste the same anymore. But I love banana peppers, and my daughter, when they do carry out pizza, will get me an Italian salad from Pizza Hut, and I love banana peppers. They don't have the bite that they used to. I don't know if it's a function of some sort of hormones connected to my stomach that no longer work, or what the deal is, but certain spice combinations, spice blends, when I smell them, make me want to throw up. It's hard for me to, food I used to love to eat, food I would just savor, I smell it now and it's like, oh, that's awful. That's awful. And nothing's changed in the food at all. It's spiced exactly the same as it was before. It's cooked exactly the same as it was before. But for some reason, it just hits my nose and I want to, just, so yeah, still battling that. I have, in 4 months, because my surgery was in January, in 4 months, I've lost 100 pounds. 4 months. Because I can't eat. The programs, the people in the program cover everything. The nutritionists and the doctors, they cover everything except those people who develop food aversions. They don't warn about that. They don't say, yeah, this is, you can expect this. Oh, and in rare occasions, you may actually get this as well. That would be nice. It's not spoken about in the little manual you get. It's not spoken about anywhere until you're talking to the psychologist and saying, the nutritional psychologist, and saying, yeah, I can't eat. It just, everything turns my, oh yeah, that's a food aversion. That's, no, it's not. If it was, you guys would be talking about it. You would be telling us about it. You would be warning us that it's a possibility. But because it doesn't happen very often, nobody wants to talk. Nobody feels the need to talk about it. So I'll talk about it. Yes, after a gastric bypass or any other kind of gastric surgery, you may, it's not a guarantee, but you may experience something called food aversion, where things that you used to be able to eat, things that you used to be able to smell, things that you used to be able to taste, no longer appeal. They make you feel nauseous. All right? So be aware, be forewarned. It could happen. All right? It's frustrating, is about the best way I can put it. It's frustrating that my diet is already limited by the surgery. I'm no longer able to eat the things I used to eat. Sugar is out completely. Completely. Unless it's a naturally occurring sugar in the food, processed sugar is gone. Gone. I can't do stevia. Oh, no, 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 no. Stevia burns like a son of a bitch. And I don't recommend gorging on candy or other junk food that uses sugar alcohols. I made that mistake. I thought when I was doing my reduced diet thing to lose 20 pounds, I lost 40. To lose the 20 pounds before the surgery, I thought, ooh, I could do that sugar-free candy that uses sugar alcohols that your body can't process. Kind of overdid it. Ended up sitting on the pot. Yeah, if you want to spend your time in the bathroom, by all means, suck up all that sugar-free candy you can. So, because I can't eat as well as I used to, because a lot of food that I used to love so much, I can't really go near. Protein shakes, protein waters, yogurt, and even it's hard. It's hard. I have another appointment with the nutritional psychologist in July, and that will be my 6 months. And I know I'm not, but it feels like I'm starving myself. I don't even think about food most of the time. Before the surgery, before I decided to have the surgery, I was hungry all the time. I'd have a full meal, and then maybe half an hour later, I'd be hungry again. That just started, probably about a year before the surgery. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I would get up, I'd watch TV, be up half the night watching TV, get up, go grab some of my grandson's Pop-Tarts or his cookies or junk, 2 bags of microwave popcorn. Just, yes. I was hungry all the time, and nothing I ate seemed to satisfy. That was a big reason why I got the surgery, because I was hungry all the time, because I was skating close to eating myself to death like both of my brothers did. And like my dad did. Uh, like the grandfather on the incubator's dad did. Um, and there's too much that needs to be done, too much that needs to be uh, taken care of before I go. Because my kids have bought a house, and my son-in-law has a really great job, well paying. He's been there for a long time, long time. He was more or less grandfathered in, but he's vital to the company operating. So yeah, he's I'm proud, very proud of the man that my daughter married. Um, but he's not going to be able to do that forever. He's going to want to retire. And the house they bought was built in 1900. It looks like a Gothic farmhouse, white with black shutters, although the paint's peeling. And there are some things. The electricity, the electrical wiring has not been updated in a lot of places in the house. The add-on that probably 1950-ish is when they added on to the house. The add-on was not put together properly. I will tell you this right now. The previous owners were do-it-yourselfers, and not very good do-it-yourselfers either. So yeah, they put in an add-on. The roof has barely any pitch to it at all. And when it started leaking, instead of, actually putting down tar paper and shingles, they just kept throwing tar on top of it. Tar after tar after tar. So yeah, that was an expense. They put in, because this used to be a duplex, or they turned it into a duplex and then turned it back into a single family dwelling. They have a bathroom downstairs that do-it-yourselfers put in, cobbled together and hooked into this line, hooked into that line. The drainage for the toilet and the shower in my bathroom down here, the pipes went out into the middle of the yard. We've got a shit ton of tall trees all over the, yeah, see how much, see, tall trees all over the place. And their roots look for water. That's why they break into the sewage pipes and the drainage pipes for the water. Trees are like that. So they had to pay a buttload of money to have the clean out put over on the side of the house so that I could use my bathroom again. Pipes, another pipe burst not too long ago, and I was without my shower for a while until they fixed it. See, it's these little things. They're going to need to replace the roof eventually because shingles are blowing off. It's these little things that I want to make sure when I'm gone that they have enough money to take care of, so that they can fix up what they want to fix up, change what they want to change, repair what they need to repair without it bankrupting them, or they have to take out 15,000 home equity loans in order to fix all this. So I need to be around long enough to be able to set all that up. And that was the main motivation for me having this surgery, so that I would survive. My dad technically died during his quadruple bypass. They put him on a heart-lung machine and kept him alive for 5 days. before they finally tried to take him off and he passed away. He was 53. Quadruple bypass. He quit smoking when I got pregnant and had to substitute the cigarettes with something. So yeah, he looked like he was 7 months pregnant before he died. Billy had died the year before Dad. Dad died New Year's Eve. Billy died probably Christmas Eve. He was 300 plus and growing. His diet was horrendous. He contracted pneumonia from what the little medication bottles on his countertops said when we finally found him. He had gotten up in the middle of the night and choked to death on his own blood. Margie, my daughter, my 9-year-old daughter, my younger brother, and I found him on Christmas Day. He was supposed to be over to our house for Christmas and never showed. So, yeah. Yeah. And then David, we were estranged. David had his own issues. He came out as gay in a time when being gay would have gotten him killed. He discovered his sexuality in high school in the 70s. And at one point, because he was so afraid and so ashamed of who he was, he tried to kill himself. Didn't succeed, obviously, but he had his own demons to battle. It took him a long time to accept who he was. And but the unfortunate thing is, like Billy, he was very, very heavy. He'd lost all that weight, exercising and all this other good stuff. He had lost all that weight. He looked weird, because I'd been used to seeing him round-faced and round-bodied for most of his life. But yeah, he lost all that weight, and it seemed like he was going on an upward trajectory, and then his best childhood friend passed away. And David battled his demons with alcohol, and he went through rehab, but and then ended up on disability because, let's face it, and you'd be lying to yourself if you refuse to believe that your weight has everything to do with how much pain you're in, your inability to walk, your inability to function like a normal human being. For every pound of weight you carry, that's 5 pounds of pressure on your joints. Think about that. For, let's say you are 250, all right? I'll just do it here. 250 times 5. That's 1,250 pounds of pressure on your knees, your ankles, and your hips, as well as your lower back. 1,250 pounds of pressure. For every pound you carry, that's 5 pounds of pressure. All right? So the reason that heavy people have more problems with arthritis in the hips and the knees is because of all the weight they're carrying. Compressing those joints in such a way that the cushioning that's in between those joints degenerates. And he carried a lot of weight. And because of that, he gained it all back. He gained it all back and then some. And he was on disability, and he was still drinking. Even though he went through rehab, he was still drinking. As soon as he got public housing, he started drinking again. When I went to clean up his apartment after he had passed, I found half empty bottles of vodka hidden in different drawers and stuff. He had big plans. He had big dreams, but he never followed through with them. He never followed through with them. He give up. For a while, he worked with Full Moon Entertainment, being a special effects person, computer effects, and he hated it. He called it assembly line movie making. They're successful. Their movies are cult. A lot of their movies are cult classics. Evil Bong comes to mind. They are cult classics. He was part of a franchise that probably would have carried him through, and he could have moved on from that after having gained enough experience. But David was not patient, and David was far too judgmental. And he just, so yeah, and he passed away in his apartment. He wasn't found until they did a emergency lights check, the emergency alarms check, which they do every month. He wasn't found until then, which happened to be on his birthday. And when I went to clean the apartment, there were several plug-ins, empty plug-ins, sitting on the windowsill, and the mattress was destroyed. Brand spanking new mattress was destroyed because he had probably laid there stewing in his own juices for, at the minimum, a week before he was found, and probably longer. His body had started to break down by the time they found him. I didn't know anything about it until well after that, and the only reason I learned anything was because I checked my now non-existent Facebook account and saw that his friend Steve contacted me because they contacted him. He was there. Steve, a friend, was David's emergency contact. And that tells you more than anything could what our relationship was like. And he contacted me through Facebook, and the coroner's office contacted me through Facebook. Imagine that, getting notification of your brother's death through Facebook. Such is my life. And so, yeah. All these factors went into my decision to do something to survive long enough to make sure my kids were taken care of when I died. And that was the main motivation for the surgery. Personally, I couldn't give two shits about my own life, except in the context of my kids. They have to be taken care of. My kids have to have something to keep them going when things get crappy, something to use for the betterment of their lives. So yeah, my dad did that to an extent, but we all know by the time I kick it, if I'm lucky, I'll be 80 or so when I do. By the time I kick it, the economy will be so much worse. We all know it. It just gets worse and worse and worse every year. And I just want to make sure that what I leave behind won't be like 2 cents, you know. Leave behind $500,000-600,000, and it's the equivalent of 2 cents. No, no, no. There, no. So yeah, yeah. I know this is a long one. I do apologize for that, but I figured I'd go ahead and update you. So have a great day. Here's hoping the weather's as nice is nice enough for you guys to be able to get out and, you know, enjoy yourselves. Uh, life is short. Make the most of it.